Hey folks, it's been a while. Long time no speak. Yeah, we got a new TW, so it's probably time to announce what's going to be happening. And of course, take a look at the game itself in beta forum. So, just to give you a wee quick recap here, this is like legitimately is the time of recording will be my first time properly diving into the game. So, if I do miss anything, apologies. But I really just want to kind of look over it with everybody, see what people think, and see what we go from there. I'm just going to quickly go over the plans for TW9, what I'm planning to do. So basically, for those who followed the TW 2020 content, I mean, I really enjoyed it, but I did feel at the end of the kind of life cycle I was running out of steam. Took a small hiatus to finish my story in other games, and when I was like, probably can come back and finish my save, that's when obviously it announced TW9. So I felt like the way it was going with TW 2020 that I was getting a massive fascination with the achievements, and it was kind of taking it away from the storyline aspect of my saves. So the plan is, for TW9, we're going to chase both. I don't know how often will be videos. It might be once a week. It might be more of it more a week. It might be one every 2 weeks. It's going to be just basically as they're ready, as they're made, as I'm playing the game. Basically, there'll be one creative, and there'll be one where I'm what they call finishing the story. I'm chasing the achievements. Some obviously I need to kind of hope that they make Afghanic mods so I can do the 75-year achievement. But the plan is 2-1CW with the C-verse will be creative, so I can properly get into these characters from the Cornell verse and basically just try and make something out of people I don't really know about. There'll be people where that know a lot about the C-verse. Myself, very limited. I've done small stuff with SMP before. I've done small stuff as well with TCW, but nothing where I'm like, I'm going to remember a lot of people. There's a few names like Sammy Batch that Ripchord Invitational. So Ripchord, I remember him from being at TCW, but it's very much a learning curve. But at the same time, it opens up so many avenues with so many wrestlers that what I can turn them into is what someone else could make them a completely different character and go a completely different way. I also remember Aaron Andrews as well. So that's going to be the creative save on the C-verse. I can pretty much start that straight away because, in truth, between the release of the beta to the full version, I won't get through it. I won't be by March. No chance. Very, very surprised, especially if I'm a company the size of 2-1CW. Because my fascination as well is, like, we always know that America's been the top place for wrestling, the most popular. I'd quite like to see what it would be like if there was a British counterpart that could tackle that. So that's what I'm keen on. And I feel with the creative one, the way that the new features that have been added to the game, probably going to make it a lot more of an immersive experience. So it's going to be a lot more, maybe it's fluid the word, but that way where people kind of are more likely with your backstage stuff and all the stooge and stuff like that is a bit more realistic. Meanwhile, if you use like a real world mod, is that stooge going to be properly who you have in your head as a stooge? And then that comes down to the other save. I want to chase the achievements. I may as well book the show with the company that I watch, and it's going to be called For the Sickos. And I just feel we'll have an AW save absolutely, where I'll maybe even do it where it's like a roundup of Dynamite, Rampage, Collision, and if there's any Battle of the Belts, and just explain my thinking for various stuff. Maybe not storyline heavy, pretty much similar to how Tony books it. There is some storyline stuff in there, but there's a lot of people that are kind of like, where's the stories, etc., etc. But I feel that's probably my best opportunity to tackle the achievements that the TW has. And they're all, honestly, the same as last year's. But I looked, there was no real changes, so the way I look at it as well, you never know what can happen over the lifespan. There could be somebody who has a great idea for a mod and it just captures the imagination of so many people, and I could end up in something like that. But there's no time scale on when that will start. As I say, the guys and girls that make mods, honestly, the time and commitment they put in is absolutely appreciated, and we should never ever rush them. Just let them do their thing, and you know what I mean. When they're happy with what they do, yeah, you know, we'll happily let people know what we're using and give them the praise and the exposure that they absolutely deserve, because it is a hell of an effort, and it's one I deeply appreciate the people putting the time in for. So we'll go through a few features here. I'm just going to basically click stuff. There's a lot of stuff that looks the same. There's a lot of stuff that's different as well. So I can see for this basically here, obviously now we have, I'm assuming because it says afternoon, so we have an afternoon evening thing. I don't think it's quite along the lines of Football Manager where it goes like various times. I think it might just be afternoon, but there might be some shows in the evening, possibly. I don't know. I've never progressed a day. I've never clicked continue in any save in this. So there's that. Just looking through here, so that's kind of... The AI renders is a tricky one, I feel. I know a lot of people are not happy with that being part of a product that's being sold, and I completely understand that. Myself being a big Football Manager player, the default regens are terrible. There was a mod, a free mod, that gave you AI generated images and it looked a million times better. So I'm going to prefer it just because of that reason. But whether it should be that is obviously a dispute for another day. But I do think it does make them look a bit alive. Whether it's the right thing or not remains to be seen. When a computer game is flopped and it isn't Fight Forever. And I was someone who actually bought Fight Forever. One of those ones who was, yeah, I'll get all the DLC here, and it turned out to be the first batch. So that was fun. So we know obviously about the usual kind of stuff. You get the news there, diary, company wars. One thing that caught my eye straight away was on this day. So obviously you're going to see everybody's birthdays on that particular day rather than being in a particular month. So that's one of the ones for like, I don't think it bothers me too much, even if like Real World Mod Makers just made everybody the first of a month as well, because I think we're so used to that you know, an actual individual day. But you got that, you get deaths, title changes, major events, legendary matches, company openings, so who opened on this day, and company closures as well. So that was quite cool to see. That was quite a nice wee feature. Sort of original battles to show, most popular. I'm assuming a lot of that's quite similar. And I know there was other stuff about there being what kind of Hall of Fame's a physical Hall of Fame. I think I read that. We've just got Pitbull Brown there on the Power 500. Quite a lot there, pretty similar. The screen that actually caught my eye was here, because there was a lot changing here. I don't think there was too much. There's a lot of buttons, but as I say, it didn't really change too much, because obviously when I heard the stuff about the creative situation, I went, oh, and that screen's completely fine, it's completely exact same, so that's not going to change for anybody. The roster, if I click on that, now this was interesting, because I think, who's it brought up? Was it TWDB on Twitter? So there's a lot of stuff here you can obviously do, managerial clients, etc, etc. The biggest thing is that skills and popularity are now on two different pages, which I suppose that saves you for kind of scrolling down. You can see globally how they look, but I was always used to that kind of position where it'd be like, oh, the skills there, he's pretty decent, oh, he's also very over. It's quite interesting as well, he's quite banged up and it's going to have a negative performance, so you're going to see obviously with that, the situation with their body, it's like, oh, well, maybe should rest them and that, so that's quite interesting as well. So you've got that, you get the popularity, so that'll maybe like you get easier there. Attributes, it's on the page. Contracts, well, at least the contract as well, you'll get a bit more info there. Negotiate and release. So he's on an exclusive written. That's still the same with the 30 days, that's fine. And any recent news that they should have. And when you click on them like that as well, it's still the exact, well, there's still a bit. Change here, top of work, personal details, top 25 matches, schedule, job history for Adam Matravers. But I just found that was quite interesting. Product seems pretty similar in terms of more so how it looks rather than the kind of products. There's a blog for that. There's a journal by Adam. Storylines looks to be very visually the same. Titles again looks to be exactly the same. I'm assuming teams and stables. Creative have already shown. Commentary I think was so quite a lot of the key components of TW 2020 still shown. Chemistry exactly the same. I'll probably mute the buttons at one point, but I can need it for myself to keep myself kind of like, oh, something's happened. Because that's what was helping us with Pro Wrestling Sim. I was getting the wee pop up. I'm like, oh, I better check that news item. Finances. You probably have a few different ones there, but as I say, visually looks the same. Events and TV. Honestly, all this is just seemingly exactly the same. Obviously, the change with the large. But this is the one where it all changes. Your booking team. So I feel like you're going to get a better idea of this with the Cornell verse than you would with Real Life, because it depends. You know, it's like, is it going to be experience head? So, you know, would it be like your Chris Heroes, Jerry Lynn's kind of people? Would it be like Bryan Danielson? Who would it be for WWE? It's quite an interesting one. Anything else there? You can alter your booker team and it'll tell you who they suggest you would like to add. Brand split seems to be pretty similar visually. Chemistry seems to be the same. Creative, well, that's just the button for there is up there. You can have your divisions, so if you want to have a mini division, a rookie division, young line, it's all there. End of year awards. I'm wondering, are these awards like the full awards, or is this just for our company? I think this might be for our company, because Steve Smith is definitely at 2-1 CW, so yeah, that's quite cool. It's individual. Figurehead seems to be the exact same, and the inner circle. So I like this idea. You can then bring in your chief enforcers, morale officer, senior referee, trainers, stooge, and the travel organizer is locked. I wonder how you unlock that. Oh, here you go. This role is unavailable in companies medium size or greater with admin staff. That's fair enough. So that's something if you're maybe doing like a road to glory to start with, that'll become available. Product roster, well, they've seen stables, storylines, teams, titles, tournaments, all shouldn't be the exact same. New elimination format is still was 32. Pro Wrestling Sim is the one that went to a lot. You can do up to trios and round robin 10 person. So basically a G1. Commentary, broadcasting, I'm assuming is the exact same. Yep. Coverage, exact same as well. So I think all that's going to be exactly how we know from previous years gone by. Absences is just basically your injuries, etc. So that's no real change there, just a change in name. Backstage looks to be pretty similar visually. We don't have a child company contract overview, so make it easier to see who's your big hitters and who is. I was like, why is he only get like the one that was like 2023? And I was like, what? How is that still like over a year? From remembering this starts in 2022. Apart from that, geotags, I suppose, which will help. Just having a wee look. Investments. Build a physical Hall of Fame. Build your corporate headquarters in here as well. Make a charitable donation. Launch your own broadcaster. Quite a few there. Invest in a new company. Quite a lot of options there. Merchandise seems to be exactly the same. Owner goals. I'm the owner. I don't like having any restrictions. I know I probably should maybe have that in some saves, but not to be. Production, as always. Promises seems to be the same, and I'm assuming, yep, everything else is just as we are. Alliances. I'm not going to go through like who the alliance is for T1 CW. It's just a case of seeing if there's anything visually different that we should maybe look out for. But it seems to be a lot of things that could really make this type of world properly expand and give you proper interest in. Let's see what else we've got. So the companies looks to be the same there. Company relationships we know about, contacts, so it's just the kind of same stuff there's been. And you've got all your various dojos and training schools, one alliance, and then all your TV providers. So a lot of stuff is quite similar. Other TV shows. So that was something they touched on. Was basically going to be like other stuff that could affect your show. So that's going to be interesting. They do have like the World Cup, the Stanley Cup, the NBA, just to name a few. But sadly, no Formula One. That's a shame. But that's quite cool at the same time. Apart from that, I believe a lot is very similar to what it's been. So there is a lot of good features that will take it good places, but there's a lot of stuff where it's just like, I know that. your search bar in there, and last but not least, obviously, just your options. As I'll probably do my usual to make it, I don't want to say easier, but make it like quicker. So like, probably get rid of like, what do they call it? The crowd management. Like, oh, you need to get them built up, and you can have them 2-1 for the main event. It's like, nah, I quite like it. Just I like to put on a sick card and go from there. I mean, that's quite cool how it looks from there. I haven't actually booked the show. I hear the angle stuff is meant to be really, really good, but as I say, I want that to be in like kind of like the first like proper video, the first episode where we kind of go, right, this is what I wanted to do, and it seems like I've got 5 days to learn the roster, to book a show, and then 14 days to get ready for an event. Probably should see they just have one show that is on for 2 hours. That's not too bad. Ah, so at least we're getting exact dates for the event. So 2 weeks to that, and then so you'd probably still get World War and head to head before the Cornell Cup would eventually be in the full game. So that was just a wee little chance to let you have a look at it if you haven't got the beta. Of course, the beta will, well, this is a beta demo. It's always going to be there to let you try before you buy. And as I say, if you like what you see and what you play, you can absolutely get involved in the full release. It is Saturday upcoming, which I think is the 3rd or 4th. Should probably check my calendar. There's never going to be an exact time they release it at, but being a wee bit later, they release the beta. I'm assuming it'll be the same for the game. So it works out ideal for me because I'll be at the football. So hopefully by the time I get back, it'll be an evening of total extreme wrestling. But I say, I always have to give thanks to Total Team Talk TV, or I'm more known as Rick, but if it wasn't for Rick, I would have made the jump from EWR to TW, and I wouldn't have documented the various saves I've had over the time. But honestly, it starts with him. With a lot of great thanks to everybody I've met in the community over the years. It's been great. For the people that have been here before, to even people new, welcome. And thank you. I need to keep always stressing the fantastic mod makers that allow us to go on these journeys, either fictional or real life world mods and eras and generations, that it's staggering how they get so much data and how much data they get correctly. So thank you again to them. It's a great job they do. And as I say, no time scale on the EW one. That'll just be whenever there's a mod available. More than likely will be Questlove's. There's always a tricky one between picking that and the Who's, but if I want the Who, I absolutely agree with his mindset and his logic on why stuff's rated so low, but it's a hell of a challenge. But I completely agree for his reasoning, because if Hulk Hogan's 100 over, Darby Allin isn't more than 35. I completely understand why he does that, because Hulk Hogan isn't known in a lot of houses in the world, and Darby Allin is sadly not. But anyway, it's all fun, it's all a game, and as long as we have a good time playing it, then that's the main thing. Of course, it's a sandbox game effectively, so despite what it said in the guidebook last time, play it how you want. It's your game. So cheers for watching. As I say, just keep an eye out for uploads. Twitter's always the best idea to see if anything's happening. But bear in mind there'll be a lot of like football and Formula 1 stuff up on there as well. Everything under the same handle. So yeah, take it easy, and hopefully I'll see you for the first proper episode of 2-1 CW. Take it easy. Bye bye.